let's dive into one of the most talked about ideas in decentralized finance, or DeFi. It's called yield farming. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can make your crypto work for you and, what that really means. So, you've got some crypto, and it's just sitting there in a wallet. You're probably wondering, can this do more? Can it actually generate a return for me? The answer is absolutely yes, and that's the exact problem that yield farming is designed to solve. At its core, yield farming is pretty simple. It's a way to earn rewards by lending out your crypto on a DeFi platform. The easiest way to think about it is like earning interest in a bank savings account, but kind of like a savings account on steroids for the crypto world. Okay, so let's pop the hood and look inside. How does this whole thing really function? When you farm yields, what are you actually doing? Let's get into the mechanics. Here's a really useful way to think about it. These decentralized exchanges need tons of different tokens available so that people can trade them whenever they want. That supply of tokens is called liquidity. When you deposit your crypto, you're becoming what's called a liquidity provider. You're basically a mini bank, helping the whole system run. So the whole process breaks down into about 3 steps. First, you deposit your crypto, usually a pair of assets like Ethereum and a stablecoin, into a big shared pot called a liquidity pool. Second, the platform thanks you by giving you rewards, often in its own special token. And third, and this is pretty cool, you also get a small piece of the transaction fees every time somebody uses that pool to make a trade. So you've got 2 potential ways to earn right there.
Now, you might be asking, why did this get so popular so fast? It really all comes down to one little 3-letter acronym that signals the potential for some, frankly, unbelievable returns. And that acronym is APY, Annual Percentage Yield. It shows you the potential return you could make over a whole year, and it often includes compounding, which is where your earnings start making their own earnings. But, and this is a huge but, you have to remember that these rates are not set in stone. They can and do fluctuate like crazy, depending on what the market is doing. And this, right here, is the main attraction. A normal bank might give you, what, a fraction of a percent? In DeFi, it's not wild to see APYs in the double or even triple digits. These crazy high numbers are there to get people to bring their crypto to new platforms. But you know the deal, high potential rewards always come with high risk. Speaking of risk, we absolutely have to talk about the fine print. You can't just look at those high APY numbers and jump in. It is so important to understand the downsides, and there are 3 big ones you really need to know about. First, smart contract risk. These platforms are all built on code, and if there's a bug or a vulnerability in that code, your funds could be at risk. Second, there's this weird, unique thing called impermanent loss, which we're going to unpack in just a second. And third is just good old-fashioned market volatility. The price of the crypto you deposited could drop. Simple as that. Okay, let's talk about impermanent loss, because it's a super important concept in yield farming. Imagine you put in $100 of token A and $100 of token B. Now, what if the price of token A skyrockets? Well, the pool automatically rebalances to keep the value even, so it sells some of your valuable token A to buy more of token B. If you decide to pull your money out right then, the total value might actually be less than if you had just held on to your original tokens. That difference, that gap, that's impermanent loss. So, you've heard the good, you've heard the bad, and you're still curious. What does it actually look like to take a first, very cautious step? Let's take a look at how you might get started. First thing you need is a platform. You're going to see big names like Uniswap and SushiSwap, which are decentralized exchanges. On those, you can pick a specific pool to put your crypto in. Then you've got something called yield aggregators, like Yearn Finance. They're a bit different. They automatically move your funds around to chase the best returns for you, which saves you work, but, adds another layer of complexity to the whole thing. And this is maybe the golden rule of all of this. Seriously, do not go all in. Start with an amount that you would be totally okay with losing. Think of it as paying for an education. Learn the ropes, see how it works, understand the fees, and only then, once you're comfortable, should you even think about adding more. So at the end of the day, yield farming is this wild, fascinating frontier in finance. It's high risk, but it's also high reward. It gives you a chance to make your assets work in a way that just wasn't possible before. But the real question, the one only you can answer, is this. For your own personal journey, are those big rewards worth the very real risks? There's no right answer for everyone.